Hello everyone, welcome back, welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue our dive into general purpose Python. As always, let's go ahead and look at the textbook that I recommended. So let's Google search OpenStack's Intro to Python Programming. When you Google search, you should get this one. There we go. See, the book. Let's go ahead and view it online. Oh, go to the book. Whoops. There we go. Let's see, what does he give it information? Well, whatever. Let's go ahead and go to chapter 2 and let's look at division. So Python does division in a couple ways. We have we as people we understand division as having a whole number and a decimal, and known as the remainder. Something you learned to do with long division way back in. Let me see if I could find a picture. Here we go, like this. So we have how many times does 14 go into 75? 18 with a remainder of 3. No, basic stuff you learn in elementary school. And we take for granted the we know the remainder and the whole number because it makes sense to us as people. However, to a computer, remember, computer only does integer. Well, Python does floating, which is a decimal, integer, which is the whole numbers, and strings or objects as they call it. So let's go ahead and open up Python. So here, let me go ahead and open up a new code boy and we'll see. Let's go ahead and show some showing the differences of division in Python. So we have, let's say, 10 divided by 3. We get 3.3333, so on and so forth. Notice how we have the whole number and the 0.33. Now, let's look at this textbook. We have true division, which as we saw, gives us the 3.333, and so on and so forth. There's also something called floor division, and I will demonstrate what that does. Floor division calculates the whole number. So let's see. 10, 3. As we see here, we see the whole number is the one before the decimal, so we get 3. So the whole number should be 3. There it goes. Now 10 divided by 3. We get 3 times 3 is 9, a leftover of 1. So if we do division with modulo, it gives us the remainder of that division. Here we go, 1. So 3 times 3 gives us 9 plus the 1, 10. Why is this useful? Well, sometimes we need to do unit conversions when you write a program. Sometimes your customer might want to, you know, I don't know, let's say convert kilometers to miles. So let's say you get your input data from customer. You say user input equals int. We want an integer. Uh, Input. Hello. Please enter the distance that you would like to convert from kilometers to miles and yards. And let's make sure we tell them whole numbers only. Now, okay, so let's say they give an input. First, we need to calculate the miles. All right, so we'll call it miles equals user input, and we only want the whole numbers. And 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometers. 1.609 if I remember correctly when I took my engineering physics class, but 1.6. And then to get yards, this one's going to be a bit tougher to think about. So we need the remainder of, we need to convert kilometers to yards. Well, we can say that 1 meter is roughly a yard, 1.33 or something like that. So let's just, I don't know that number. So how much is 1 kilometer in yards? Let's call it 10.94. Yeah. Well, oh, wait, how much did it say? I forgot already. 1094. Well, let's just type in the whole number. 1093, just to be on the safe side. And now let's put our output. So print. We're going to use a formatting operation. So we're going to say the distance that you input is, and we're going to use these brackets, user input, kilometers, comma, and that converts approximately to miles miles, and yards, yards. Now, notice that the user input, miles and yards, we had those in blue. That's because those are the variables we're going to use. So we're telling Python, spit out the variables that they input and the ones you calculated. So now let's run it. And let's take a real distance, uh, distance between Texas and Alaska in kilometers. Well, we'll take Houston to Anchorage, 6440. So we'll use that. So here, notice how we get the input out here. So 6440 kilometers, and just so that we can know if we get it right, Anchorage in miles. So we should get about 4,132 miles. That should be the whole number. So look at that. The distance is the distance as you input it is 6,640 kilometers, and that converts approximately to 4,149 miles and 82 yards. 4,149. Google says it's 4,132. That's that might be due to the way that the distance is converted, or the way they calculate distance. See, notice how it's taking some curves, and maybe the way we calculate it, it only goes from Houston to Anchorage directly. Or maybe a slight calculation error when we here. 6440, maybe that's incorrect. Well, but you see, that's when you would need division. Unit conversion. It makes unit conversion a whole lot easy. Another example would be converting weight. So convert grams to kilograms and grams. So let's take the user input again. Int. It's important we use int because we don't want the user to input strings. You know, that can make it bad if they start entering letters. Makes it making a whole world of pain. All right, so let's say, please enter the mass in grams that you would like to convert to kilograms and grams. Now this might sound simple to us, kilo meaning thousand, so we know that just divide by 1,000 and we'll get kilos, but to a lot of people that's not true. So just kilos equals user input dash dash divide by 1,000, and then grams. Our grams is going to be just a remainder of the division of 1,000. So print f uh, the mass that you entered is, will return exactly what they input, grams, and it converts to kilos, kilograms, and grams, grams. Then we could just say, print thank you for using our program. Have a wonderful day. Oh, so let's go with 2790. So we know that should be 2 kilograms with 790 grams. Now we're just dividing. But let's see if it's true. See, the mass you entered is 2790 grams, and it converts to 2 kilograms and 790 grams. Thank you for using our program. Have a wonderful day. There you go. Unit conversion is very handy because sometimes as programmers, our jobs is to design programs for people that pay for it. However, as you know now, being members of society, a lot of program is being paid by big data companies, like Microsoft and Google, all them, and they're paying by selling your data. And a lot of that data is, comes from the user base. Who's the user base? Just regular, everyday people. People that, they have a job, they go to work, they work 8, 10, 12 hours a day, maybe even more. They're tired. They don't want to think too much. They just want to relax. So if you can make their life easier by doing this, then that would be all the better for them. So this is just a more different level of things that we can use. So again, in this textbook, please read the dividing integers. That was called division, floor division, to give us the whole numbers, and the modulo to give us the remainder. Okay? Now I recommend you try this challenge. Of a change machine or arrival time. There's 2 questions. Go ahead, try them. Remember that programming, it sounds very fancy. Ooh, I'm programming a computer. There's a lot of the notion of being a hacker. Programming is problem solving. You have to solve problems in a different way of thinking because computers don't think the same way we do. So I hope that was helpful. Remember to get to this textbook. Literally just open So I'll show you how to get here in case you forgot. So open up Google, um, OpenStax Intro to Python. Right here for me is the first search result. Excuse me. It was published in 2024, and the last update online was April 23rd of this year. It does have an ISBN, so it is a legitimate book that you can buy a physical copy if you prefer. You could download a PDF if you don't have a stable internet connection, or you could just view it online like I did right now. See, click it, go to book. The whole textbook is available here. So it was chapter 2, dividing integers. Here we go. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Have a wonderful day.